everyone, and welcome back to our next episode of Big Data Talks, in which we have conversations with industry experts about the way in which data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence are changing the way we live. My name is Jan-Willem Middelburg, and I will be again your host today. I'm the author of the Enterprise Big Data Framework, which is hosting this series of Big Data Talks. You can always watch back the recording of this discussion on YouTube, the Big Data Framework website, and podcasting platforms such as Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Today, I have the great pleasure to welcome Dr. Madan Mohan Tito Ayyalasomayajula, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And Dr. Madan is a researcher, author, and senior technology architect based in Texas, United States, with over 2 decades of expertise spanning data architecture, distributed computing, cloud computing, big data, machine learning, and obviously artificial intelligence. Holding a doctorate in computer science from Aspen University and a master's degree from Osmania University, Dr. Madan has been instrumental in architecting scalable data solutions and addressing some of the most pressing challenges in big data and AI. As a peer reviewer for esteemed international journals in AI and big data research, Dr. Madan ensures the quality and relevance of pioneering research in these cutting-edge fields. His unique blend of academic knowledge and practical industry experience allows him to seamlessly bridge the gap between theory and application, delivering innovative solutions that meet real-world needs. So I think everyone can see why I'm so pleased today to welcome Dr. Madan to Big Data Talks today. Dr. Madan, it's really a pleasure to have you with us today.
Hi, Middelburg. Thanks for having me today on the show. You're one of my favorite hosts. Thank you for offering this great opportunity to connect with you. I'm so excited to move on. And
Great. I'm super happy to hear that I'm one of your favorite hosts. Thank you so much for the compliment, and super happy to hear that you've been enjoying the show so far. And I'm super grateful to have you on today. So let's dive in right away a little bit. Can you share a little bit for our audience around your journey into computer science? What has sparked your interest in data architecture, and specifically, obviously, distributed computing and artificial intelligence?
sure. So my journey into computer science began as a software engineer and a mentor at J&T University, for MS-IT program, which really laid the groundwork for my career. Then I took on the role of principal architect at Mahindra Comviva. I'm proud to say that was the significant moment for me because I led the development of more than 10 critical products. I was the think tank member for more than 30 to 40 different products. Not, as you know, not all products may fly, but out of them, the 10 critical products were live, and then still they are serving more than 300 to 400 telecom subscribers in the telecom industry worldwide. So it was an incredible experience that truly inspired and ignited my passion for data architecture, distributed systems, high performance computing, and artificial intelligence systems. Working with such large scale projects, and handling massive data volumes and ensuring smooth interactions between multiple distributed systems was very challenging and very interesting as well. So this experience actually pushed me further for my expertise towards enterprise architect, and I worked as an enterprise architect at reputed organizations like Toyota Motors North America, TMNA, and Walgreens. There, I focused on integrating cloud-based solutions, data center migrations, and a very large-scale, system development and all. And then even on hybrid environments. So applying these advanced technologies across different fields has always been, my passion, and it has been incredibly rewarding as well. So with
I
years
can only
in the
imagine, and especially if you're able to combine that passion with learning something new every single day.
yeah.
I think
So
it's fair to say, because I obviously, in preparation for this episode today, we looked at your journey, and one of the things that really amazed me is that you're combining the world of academia with your practical work in organizations. You have a doctorate from Aspen, a master's from Osmania University. How do you manage to incorporate the more theoretical world that we see in academia with the more practical side of the reputed organizations you just mentioned?
thanks for asking this. And, as you rightly said, I earned my doctorate in computer science from Aspen University. And, at Osmania University, I pursued two masters in computer applications and masters in computer science and engineering, that is MTech CSE. And
Mhm.
these academic pursuits have profoundly shaped my career and the way how I approach the technology. Now, these endeavors have equipped me with advanced knowledge of intricate computational theories and their real world applications. So throughout my education, I have been in an environment where I have felt always encouraged. My professors were encouraging, and continuously focusing on learning new things and innovate, honing my analytical skills and cultivating a research oriented mindset. That is, a critical thing I feel. And then this experience has enabled me to develop a structured approach to address very complex technological challenges. So to give you an example, like, a very big problem is that we are not supposed to address it so quickly, just like that in a blind way. So we have to decompose, or I should say split those challenges into smaller problems, and then we have to approach these small problems first, and then we have to integrate, and then we have to address the big picture. So these types of special techniques were actually learned by me, and then it was really inspiring for me. And then I'm passionate about driving business success through technological advancements, and I actively contribute even to the field by publishing research concepts. And yeah, I'm always been in an excited journey of growth and exploration.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So, a lot of the things that you say sound very familiar to me personally. My background in computer science is also more on the theoretical side, and a lot of the problems that I'm using in business still have a fundamentals and a foundation which is rooted in the more theoretical computer science things like I think you just referenced the greedy algorithm design and these kinds of problems. It helps
Yeah,
structure your mind quite a bit. Now,
right.
I'd like to dive a little bit deeper on that, because there's always this discussion that people say that there's a bit of a disconnect between the more theoretical aspects that you see in academia versus the reality of fast-pacing world of business in which time is of the essence and in which solutions also need to be practical. In a particular way, you've managed to find a bridge to combine these more theoretical aspects with the more practical explanations. And the question I'm very interested in is how do you maintain that balance between what is important for driving innovation and technology versus the more structured, more, I would say, academic approach?
This you are asking a secret sauce, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So, well, as you rightly said, maintaining balance between theoretical knowledge and practical application is key to drive the innovation and to move on towards the technological implementations. And also, I'm always eager to stay current with the
Mhm.
latest concepts through academic research and attending conferences. That's one. And then when it comes to applying theoretical concepts, what I do is I dive into the real world projects, and I try to apply some of those concepts and try to build some smaller prototypes, or maybe I go with personal experiments and test the implementations, what I have explored, or what I have explored. Then the other one is like collaborating. So in the industry, very important thing is not all topics can be explained and explored by us. So what we have to do is we have to connect with people, we have to collaborate with people so that we can get multidisciplinary knowledge. And there are many experts in different areas, so we can learn from them and then we can share our ideas and collaboratively we can move further. And the other one is important point, what I believe is integrated system thinking. So in this integrated system thinking, it plays a vital role for me. The reason is it helps me to tackle the complex issues by understanding how different components and disciplines are interconnected. So that's one important. And then again, without any second thought, get the feedback. Whatever you do, just present it in front of people and then experts, and then get the feedback and in an iterative model improve it. That's one more important. So why this balance is crucial? Well, I know it ensures that theoretical knowledge remains relevant and practical. It provides insights into scalability, adapts to rapid technological changes, and builds credibility through successful applications. So
Well, I think that that's a good way to kind of summarize the secret sauce that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Good. These days, obviously, it's not possible to talk about technology anymore without diving a little bit deeper into the technology that everyone is busy with today, which is obviously AI. Now, we've been covering AI quite a number of times on this podcast, and we're obviously not going to explain what it is because most people know that by now. But since your work has been very involved in this field, I was wondering whether you could explain a little bit more on the technical history around it, and how you've seen AI evolve, especially over the last, I would say, 2 decades, to see what were kind of like the key drivers and the technological milestones that made artificial intelligence what it is today.
Okay, so this is a time travel question. I should actually
Yeah,
get
it
into
is.
the time machine. Okay, so I'm thrilled to have witnessed so many incredible milestones in AI over the past 20 years, in fact. So to begin with, back in 2000, big data analytics really took off. So technologies like Hadoop, Spark made it really possible to handle massive amounts of data efficiently. Even along with Hadoop and Spark, I should say even the columnar databases also helped a lot in this segment. Okay, and then this gave businesses deeper insights to think about their data, and then to know about the market trends, consumer behavior, and operational efficiencies, all which led to more informed decision making. Then the other aspect is like around the same time, I think like we saw significant advancement in machine learning algorithms. So the development of ML algorithms enabled more accurate forecasting, especially like linear regression and other models. They are helping a lot. Okay, and then even classification algorithms. So customer segmentation, recommendation systems, all were built on top of it. So that is one incredible moment. I think it was in 2000 and between 2000 and 2003, something like that. Then when we jump to 2010, deep learning took off. Deep learning came into the scene in a very big way, truly speaking, and neural networks, especially CNNs, RNNs, like recurrent neural networks, they transformed the customer habits or behaviors, whatever we see, or we should say like they revolutionized the tasks on image processing, speech recognition. So this led to the innovations, also something like facial recognition and device authentications as well. So after that, I see like NLP came into the picture, natural language processing. So that also made a very huge stride. And then developments in language models like Google BERT and OpenAI's GPT they really transformed the customer support with chatbots, automated content creation, sentiment analysis, and more efficient information retrieval systems also were built based on those concepts and topics. After that, computer vision also uh, came into the picture, and then we saw significant improvements around 2010 in this. Yeah, this enabled more accurate image and video analysis. This had a wide range of applications from healthcare to security as well. And in 2016, uh, reinforcement learning came into the picture, and then it had hit a major milestone and sparked interest in applying it to optimization techniques or optimization problems, basically. And especially in autonomous vehicles, logistics, supply chain management and resource management across the globe. Most recently, in 2010, we all are witnessing that we have seen like generative AI is in very good shape now. Generative AI and synthetic media also, that is one more important thing. So these technologies have actually opened up new forms of content creation and automation and personalization. So businesses are now using generative AI for tasks ranging from automated report generation to creative design and marketing as well. So these milestones have collectively transformed, how businesses operate, how they are driving the innovation, and then how they would like to work efficiently and efficiency across various industries. Also, we can see.
It's a very interesting journey, and thanks for sharing this history lesson, because I think that's what it is. But it kind of sums up quite in detail that we wouldn't be where we are today if it hadn't been for a number of, I would say, technological revolutions. And I think a lot of things that people typically misinterpret or misunderstand is that the reason that we're here today is because a lot of work, research, development went into place. It was not just one single invention that led us where we are today. Now, what is also obviously true is that AI and big data are interrelated. One wouldn't exist without the other. And you already mentioned a little bit around scalable systems, the invention of Hadoop, Spark, and related technologies. But why did it take such a long time to get the ability to train these massive neural networks or machine learning models that you just mentioned, or NLP models or Gen AI? Why did it take such a long time to make that technologically possible?
So this falls under, I should say, like some of the initial challenges that the businesses have faced when integrating the AI and big data into their operations. So there are multiple points or multiple perspectives and views for this. So first off, I should say data quality and data management were biggest hurdles. So
Yes.
many organizations, they struggled with poor data quality, incomplete data sets, and inconsistent formats. So they are having the data at multiple sources, and then to combine, to get that, to format it, it was a big hurdle. So data engineering was not up to the mark at that point of time. And ensuring accurate, clean, and well organized data was a significant task for any organization. And coming to the next biggest hurdle or biggest challenge, what I see is infrastructure. So infrastructure and scalability was, those two were major issues. Traditional IT systems, they couldn't cope up or handle the vast amounts of data. So actually AI is requesting, or it needs that amount of capability from the infrastructure or support from the infrastructure. So the infrastructure should be scalable according to the needs of AI demands. That was not there. So the other thing is we faced the skill gaps as well. So there was huge shortage of professionals with expertise in data science, machine learning, and data technologies, data engineering. So recruiting and training the right talent to manage and implement AI projects was a major challenge. Then the other challenge what I see is integrating the existing legacy systems with AI systems. So in that context, what I should say is we have to develop new workflows. That wasn't an easy task. So data privacy and security were huge concerns as well. So especially with regulations like GDPR and HIPAA or CCPA, the complexity is a multifold, truly speaking. And then the high costs associated with AI and big data projects were a barrier also. So initial investments in hardware and software and human resources was substantial. Interpreting results was also a big challenge. So regulatory compliance is another challenge. So finally, many organizations have stored their data in silos, I should say. So getting them onboarded in such a way that, that is usable by AI systems is very complex task. So businesses had quite a few obstacles to overcome.
Very interesting, because if you think about those obstacles a little bit deeper, then the question is, or that immediately comes to my mind, a lot of the things that you're saying, like poor data management, knowledge, skills gaps, in my opinion, they, for many organizations, exist still today. Yet something has changed in the last few years to make it possible to start using this more effectively. Would you be able to share a little bit from your work is how organizations have started to embrace AI, how many businesses are using it today, and what is it that really changed in the last few years that it has become this new frontier technology that everyone wants to be a part of?
Yeah, I know. That's a great question, truly speaking. In my view and the knowledge, whatever I learned from the surveys and other reports based on recent studies and all, what I have gone through, I should say at this current moment of time, about 35 to 40% of the global organization force, actually they are incorporating the AI in their operations. And if I look at from the past, maybe from 2010 to this moment, I should say in 2010, it is not that high. It is around 7% or something like that. But in 2015 and all, it was, up to 18% or, 18 to 20%, something like that. And then now we are at a stage, 30 to 40% or 35 to 40%. Almost we can clearly see there is a clear rise in adoption for AI techniques and technologies. And apart from that, I would like to say another perspective also. So by end of 2024, I'm expecting that I clearly see there is a path for us, like it can go up to 50%. And maybe if we are so futuristic, in 2030, it can go up to 75%. That's what I believe. And the other consideration what I see is with respect to this, in fact, most of the organizations using AI in at least one business function, either directly or indirectly, the figure is already around 50%. Okay. And then it can go high even in coming years. So by 2017 itself, by 2027 itself, we can see around 75% in that aspect. So I assume
Yes. So you mentioned something very interesting, and that's, you said that around 75% there is already AI in use in a particular business function. Now, that brings me to the question: where should organizations get started? What are the most common applications in AI that we see today, of actual use cases or real return on investment in terms of these new technologies?
Yeah. So that's a wonderful question. Truly speaking, AI is widely used in businesses today with several common applications. I would like to, give some perspective with different sectors on this particular, point. So to begin with, in customer service, so AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants are common applications. So they
Yep.
help enhance customer experience by providing quick, accurate responses, uh, to the inquiries around the clock. I should say, like 24/7, they can help the customers. And the other aspect is marketing sector. So in marketing, AI is used for personalized recommendations and targeted advertisement. So these systems analyze customer data to tailor recommendations and ads to individual preferences, leading to more effective marketing campaigns. Then the other sector, which is very important for all of us, is supply chain management. So AI's predictive analytics help firms with the demand forecasting and inventory management more effectively. So just in time is one of the key aspects that is supported by AI systems now. Then in finance, I should say AI is employed for fraud detection. Almost whatever the banking transaction you are doing, whether it is the right transaction or a wrong transaction, immediately on the fly you can get it. So fraud detection is one of the key application in finance. Then coming to the healthcare sector, AI is revolutionizing healthcare through deep learning based disease detection. So especially in image processing. So these AI systems helps in early and accurate diagnosis, significantly improving the patient care. Uh, the other common thing across the organizations, what we see is in human resources department. So AI is making strides in human resources by automating recruitment process, which leads to increased efficiency in hiring practices. So say, for example, earlier to hire a candidate, it was taking around 120 days, but now they are cutting down to around 60 days, almost 100% increment is there in that. So the other critical aspect, what I see is agriculture. So now by analyzing images of crops, AI can identify diseases early. So this helps improve crop production and prevent food security, or food scarcity, basically. So there are
So
multiple
so
models.
many different use cases. Yeah, no, correct. And I think you're referencing, I would say, some of the industries that have been able to accelerate due to AI, or that maybe can completely transform because they can make decisions that are faster, better, in a way that they were unable to, and especially for process-oriented, automatable sectors like finance, agriculture, you just mentioned. I think that's a real game changer that is going to happen. Now, one of the things you mentioned, which I thought was very interesting, is the ability to make better decisions around that. So there's a lot of debate these days, and as I'm quite sure you're familiar, between the decision making by robots versus the decision making that happens by the human brain and mind. So I was wondering whether you could share a bit of your perspective around how AI is transforming that decision making on a day-to-day and real-life basis.
Sure. So to answer your question, I should, come up with few examples. Some of them, whatever I'm going to provide is with my own experience or,
Mhm.
in my industry, as well as some other common examples also I may try to put in front of you. So to begin with, we used AI to improve customer retention in a telecom giant, so
Yep.
where I worked. So we have developed a system that detects dormant subscribers. So when a dormant subscriber reconnects the network or reconnects to the network, the system automatically triggers an offer through an instant text message like SMS message or a push notification. So it also alerts the customer care team to call the subscriber personally. So in that way, there could be a personal touch from the customer care team as well. And from the customer care team as well, the subscriber can get a more personalized promotion. So in that way, they can retain the customer. So that is like some instantaneous decision making, the system can offer. This is a very interesting application in decision making in telecom. And then another example can be setting up a system to detect suspicious badge access. So when the system identifies something unusual, like unauthorized access, it automatically triggers the gates to lock with an emergency signal. Okay, and then depending on whether it's happening on the working hours or maybe in the late evening, what it is going to do is it is going to lock the doors for a short term or maybe for a long term or for a long duration, and then it signals this particular incident to the security authorities. So this is one good example for that. So it is taking it is making decision instantaneously. So that is one. Then similarly, AI is used in automobile industry. I have witnessed and worked in this particular segment, and basically AI is used in automobile industry to identify defective parts on the production line. So as and when the parts are moving on the production line on the belt, immediately it will try to identify the defective parts and it alerts the technician next to that place. And so the technician can immediately check that, and then he can take the relevant action. And then this actually helps the testing process a lot. It can save a lot of efforts. So that is another one. And then managing the customer claims. This is another example. In large corporations and large firms, they receive a lot of claims. So it's a tedious job for any organization to go through all these claims and then what are the legal aspects involved in that and all. So I should say there are a lot of complaints related issues also on that. So it leads to regulatory and legal compliance challenges. So the concerned team must often navigate extensive data and documents to prepare the response. So AI-powered document review systems, they streamline this entire process by analyzing thousands of documents. They help generate reports and pinpoint the potential issues or discrepancies. So this one is going to help the team to take the right decision. Okay. Then the other one, I should say, most important thing, in multiple industries, this example is widely used. This is churn prediction. So churn prediction is like, which identifies the subscribers who are going to likely to leave the entire network. So this helps the firms proactively act on it, and then they can retain those customers, because maintaining a customer or bringing a new customer into the system is most costliest thing than retaining the existing customer. So that is one thing. So you can see this particular application or this kind of decision making system in telecom, HR, education, healthcare, and even any subscription based model or application also. So So lastly,
it's interesting, and all of those use cases kind of enlarge and provide us with such an amazing window of opportunity of all the things for which we could make better decisions. Now, my next question is kind of related to this. You could say that this is a bit more of a philosophical question. And it has everything to do with, well, let's take customer retention, for example. And my question is going to be, is a decision that is made by an AI system typically leading towards a more better customer experience? So in other words, does a customer ultimately is going to prefer a service provider that makes these AI-based decisions? There's also a few people who say, well, the fact that I'm talking to an AI chatbot is giving me, let's say, a worse customer experience. So in your experience and professional opinion, is AI really going to provide better customer service? and customer experience. What's your thoughts about that?
Yes, in my view, AI is always, providing the better customer experience. Uh, to give you some examples towards that, like personalized recommendations, if I start with. So personalized recommendations are definitely a game changer. So for example, when we get onto Amazon website, for example, Amazon suggests products you might like based on your past or previous
Yep.
history or shopping experience, whatever you had in the past. So, and if you look at the other aspect like Netflix offers different TV shows or movies based on our past history. So, and it is definitely based on our preferences. So in that way, AI is trying to analyze our behavior and choices to make accurate suggestions as well. So most of the time, if I understand, uh, based on the recommendations given versus the actual action taken by the user, 80% of the times, whatever the content was suggested by the AI engines are utilized by the users. So in that way, definitely the experience is, very high. It is bringing a lot of experience, a new experience to the user, truly speaking. And then the other perspective is chatbots and virtual assistants. So they are also, doing a great job. These AI-powered chatbots and all, they help almost every time, like 24/7, they are helping the customers. So earlier, we used to get only a timely window, maybe 8 hours window or 10 hours window kind of thing. But now we are getting the support from the companies wherever chatbots are implemented 24/7 round the clock. So it is a great experience for all common tasks. We are getting the support means it's a great user experience, I should say. And then
Mm-hmm.
sentiment analysis. If we look at this perspective, uh, this is where AI tools dive into customer feedback, social media posts, and reviews to gauge customers' feelings. So it's like having a pulse on customer emotion, and which helps businesses to tweak their products and services based on their real-time feedback. So there are some tools like Lexalytics and Brandwatch. They are
Mm-hmm.
the big players in this area as well. So another perspective what I have is customer service automation. So this is also a good one. So certain tasks where the chatbots cannot handle directly, they take the input and then the required information is delegated to the backend systems, and then backend systems can actually come back with the right solution to the customer. Even though there is a small delay or an asynchronous process is involved, still user can actually get the service from that. So user experience is definitely enhanced over there. Then visual search. You
Yeah.
give an image, then you get the right information, whatever you are looking for. Uh, Another one is like voice recognition and assistance. This is one key area. Along with that, I should say one of the important user experience one, augmented reality. Augmented reality we cannot forget. So, for example, like IKEA Place is there. So if you
Yeah.
look at that app, you know you can take the furniture picture and then you can say, hey, I want to place that furniture in my room at this location, how it may look like.
It's
So
very
immediately
interesting,
you
right?
can get the answer. Very interesting one. So earlier you cannot even see even the same thing. For example, in the industry like automobile, a chassis is there, and then on top of it, I would like to place a chair, and how that new chair or new model is looking like. They don't need to take the chair to the chassis, which is located at a different place. Just that can be there as an image, and then they can visualize how it may look like. So a
Yeah,
great
there's
user
so many
experience.
of these possibilities.
Yeah.
Good. One of the things that is, I would say, one of the key challenges of our time is obviously the line with ethical applications. So I also wanted to talk for a few minutes with you around the ethical side of things and how these new technologies are kind of going towards the boundaries of what people think is acceptable versus other drivers such as profit, growth. I would say more the business driver things. So, in your professional opinion, when we talk about the ethical implications of AI technologies, what is going to change, and what are the implications that every business should take into consideration?
There are many ethical challenges that the companies have to look at. Uh, I should say, from the ethical implications perspective, one key important point is AI bias. So AI bias is like algorithmic bias. It is introduced by the algorithm. Okay.
Mhm.
So in the data set, in the input data set, if there is a bias inherently included, so that will be even, transformed, or I should say it will be propagated to the next layers of information, and it can create a bias. So it may amplify the bias present in the training data, leading to unfair treatment of certain groups as well. So for example, if I consider uh, some healthcare data set, so to give you a simple example, like with my name or with XYZ name, a lung cancer is detected, and then unfortunately, with the same name, multiple people are there, and then the for the same guy or with the same name, the lung cancer is detected 5 times or 6 times. So whenever a new patient is getting in into the system with the same name, it may wrongly qualify that person. Hey, this guy also may have the lung cancer. So that
Yeah.
is a kind of bias. It can be there. So we have to look at it so carefully about it. And then privacy and surveillance. This is another key aspect. So AI systems often require large amounts of personal data. So raising concerns about how this data is collected, stored, and
Yeah.
used, we have to see very carefully. Then
Yeah.
another key aspect involved in this is transparency and accountability. Uh, the important thing what we always observe in terms of AI systems are AI systems work almost like black box systems.
Yeah.
They are not very transparent always. So many AI models which are developed, especially deep learning models, they operate in black box mode. So where the decision making processes are not very transparent, making it difficult to understand or challenge their outcomes. That is another uh, serious implication. Then security and misuse. The AI systems can be targeted by the cyber attacks or hackers, so leading to potential breaches of sensitive information. So we have to be very careful about this. And then job displacement and economic impact. I
Yeah.
should
No, so
yeah.
I would say it's fair to say that there's so many different implementations. Um, One of the things that I think every country or government is struggling with is to what extent is these implications should they be governed by governments, regulators, and where does professional responsibility stop and where does kind of government enforcement begin? And you're based in the US. I know there's quite a lot of challenges at this moment, and I think this is ultimately going up to the Supreme Courts in your country for decision making. Um, but I was wondering, having such a long history in academics, what's your view on where the responsibility and to what extent the responsibility lies for ethical use of AI? Is it with companies? Is it ultimately with government? Is it a mixture? Or is it even with the providers of these AI solutions? What's your view?
That's an interesting question. Yes.
It's a very
uh,
interesting. I'm not quite sure we're going to find the answer today, but it's good to theoretize a little bit around it.
Yeah. So, in my perspective, it lies with multiple stakeholders. It is not just with one. So, so ensuring ethical use of AI within the organizations is definitely a multifaceted responsibility, that requires involvement from multiple stakeholders. I should say, to begin with, executive leadership and board of directors, and chief
Yep.
ethics officers, and AI and data science teams, maybe AI lead, data science team lead, all that, or maybe experts in that area. And then legal and compliance team. Most often, this team is very much neglected in the industry, but
Yep.
they provide valuable insights, in my opinion, and in my experience, for AI related systems. They bring a totally different perspective when we are dealing with AI systems. Then human resource teams, HR teams, then
Yep.
external stakeholders. So if our organization is connecting with external teams or external companies and all, whoever is there as an external stakeholder, we have to connect with them. Even they are also equally responsible. And last but not the least, I should say every employee as well. So every employee, when they are trying to use the AI system, or when they are, getting trained on that, they should know about the responsibility, and they have to work on it.
Yeah.
There are multiple, enforcement strategies also we can think about. Uh, so something like we can come up with different frameworks. So essential to create, thorough frameworks that outline the ethical principles and standards for AI within the organization. Then
Yeah.
transparency and explainability, that also we can think of, like, it's very important that AI systems are transparent and their decision making process can be explained and understood by the stakeholders. So
Yes.
explain AI related components we have to think about. And then bias and fairness audits. So we can look for different bodies where they can look at the algorithms, or the outcomes of the algorithms, and then they can audit regularly, testing the
Hmm.
AI systems for biases. That is very crucial as well in our industry. This helps
So
ensure that
am I
AI.
right in saying that it's kind of a mixture of the different stakeholders, and that we cannot really appoint a single individual stakeholder where the responsibility lies? Is that the essence?
One way, yes.
Very interesting. Um, Unfortunately, we're going super fast through the time and our questions. And I know you've been listening to this podcast for a while, so you know that I always like to ask towards the end one more question, because we have a lot of very young listeners and viewers to this podcast. So since you already have some years in terms of experience and ways in different companies, different academic institutions of where you have worked, if you could give advice, let's say, to everyone who's listening, or maybe to your 25-year-old self, what advice would you give to everyone who's just getting started in this field, whether it's more towards a data science career or maybe completely AI oriented? What would be your main piece of advice given the history that you have?
Okay, this is like my lifelong lessons in one nutshell.
Yes, well, and also within a few minutes, in a few minutes.
Sure. So, mentoring young IT professionals is clearly important, uh, for anyone, whoever is there in the industry, where they gain the experience. And for me as well, I'm very happy in general whenever, any IT professional is trying to reach out to me on any advice and all. And coming to your point, the advice to the young professionals are something like, they should embrace lifelong learning. It's like, learning is a continuous journey. technology is constantly evolving, and staying relevant requires a commitment to continuous learning. So this can include like pursuing some certifications, or going to different university courses and attending workshops, participating in different webinars, and staying updated with the latest trends and advancements in the field. So they have to open their eyes and look around. Hey, what's going on around me? And then the other important perspective I should say is like focus on building solid understanding of fundamental concepts in computer science and engineering. Then this includes like mastering programming languages, like understanding data structures and algorithms, and gaining deep knowledge of system architecture and design. Okay, there are
Mhm.
many different architectures are there. It could be distributed architecture, or it could be cloud computing architecture, different areas. So they have to have the strong foundation in that, and then cultivating the problem solving skills. So this is another area. So hone your analytical and critical thinking skills, and practice breaking down the complex problems into manageable components, or sub problems. I should say, in an algorithmic way, it is like divide and conquer.
Yeah. Well,
So,
that's
and
maybe a good way to summarize it. Find a divide and conquer strategy for your life, and not just for a computer science point of view. Very good.
yeah, few
Um,
more points.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, a few more points, to help the team or young professionals are like network actively with different professionals and understand the business context, then focus on ethics and responsibility as well. Last but not least, I should say, everyone, when they are growing, they try to learn few concepts. So still there is an option and there is a scope for improvement. So they have to seek for mentorship, and then whatever they have learned, they have to give it back to the society. So these are the important things I should say.
I think
For
divide and conquer and give back to society. I think those are the two ones that will definitely stand out. Obviously, then having a good fundamental background knowledge, because that's important in every job you will go into. With that, Dr. Madan, I would like you to thank you so much for participating in Big Data Talks. It's been an absolute pleasure to listen to you, and thanks so much for sharing your words of wisdom. It's greatly appreciated. I hope, as always, that it inspires others to think about the way in which data is really changing their life, and that it inspires them to start learning more about the way in which data works, operates, and changes society every single day. Thank you so much for being part of our Big Data Talks today.